Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spill the RD. I'm Eamonn and I'm here with Josh. Hi, Josh.
Hey, you know what this is?
What's this? Three?
What episode is this?
It's 83.
Ah, how about
Ah-ha-ha.
that shit? 83
Stop
episodes.
the lights. What do you like, huh? 83 episodes and going strong, baby. We had
Damn straight.
a little bit of a breather there for the last 2 weeks, but we're back because there's just so many stories.
Look, the world continues, life happens, but here we are. Here
Yes,
we are for you folks.
absolutely.
Us, you, us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Did you look at all of the cool dresses on the Met Gala runway last night or the other
I,
night?
I we'll probably talk about that in a week or two because I have to recover from some of that stuff.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I,
There
well,
was no omelets this year though, so at least there's that.
I can think of certain prior guests maybe we should have on to have that
Yes,
conversation about.
maybe I'll give him a little tinkle and
You know who I'm talking about, I think.
see if Tinkerbell is ready.
It
Um,
is it is almost summertime. There must be a
it,
new costume.
absolutely, absolutely. We'll reach out and see. Leave a comment in below if you know who we're talking about.
Yes, first person who comments with the right person below, we'll send you something. I don't know what, but we'll
Absolutely,
send you
maybe a
something.
magic wand or something.
It involves ears. How's that?
Absolutely.
Nonetheless,
Bring in that magic. We've got loads of stories this week, though. So, Josh, where are we going to? What's happening?
so this week, update: stolen Romanian golden helmet was returned intact. Catalan's latest, of course, well, actually not really one of his latest, a hotline to confess sins to him. An immersive Sistine Chapel comes to a New Jersey mall, of course,
Hmm.
naturally. A nationwide audit of Chinese museums, because apparently they've lost lots of artwork. And a $5.5 million online sale of a Triceratops on Pharrell's auction platform, Joopiter. That's with two O's. All that and a brand new guest are up next as we spill the art tea. Welcome to episode 83.
I'm excited to know what Jupiter means, but cool. Well, it sounds fun. All I know is his name is Trey, but look, we'll talk about that later when we get right into the story. But until then, let's bring on our guest. Are we ready?
Absolutely.
Here we
Drum
go.
roll
It's
down.
Kiira. Hi, Kiira.
Hi everyone.
How are you
Good.
doing, Kiira?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, the Met Gala did just happen recently. I did watch some of the fashion there, and yeah, here we are in the middle
Here,
of a new.
here we are. Here we are, still poor broke artists who could never afford
Well,
to
I'll
go to the
point
Met
out
Gala.
we don't ask people to dress special for this show. I'm just going to point out you can if you want to. Like we have people who come on all the time with very special costumes. Nonetheless, it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement. I mean, I'm wearing a bloody like gym zippy here and a backwards cap, so I can't really say much. I don't think I'd get on very well on the red carpet.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
like pockets. I always find, and I have walked a few red carpets, and I do find like it's just like we need pockets in life.
Pockets. Okay, pockets.
It's true.
We'll go for
It's
that.
true.
Yeah.
I always feel
Pockets.
bad. I always feel bad for people because the guys have like jackets, right? They at least have something they can tuck,
Mm.
right? The women are always in these gowns that are just like there's nothing, and I don't go out without like 9 different weapons in the first place, so I can't.
You've nine
No
different what
way.
now?
Weapons.
Oh right, okay.
I'm an American who does not live in New York City. We're allowed to actually arm ourselves, and
Oh
I
my
do.
goodness. Oh
Got
dear.
that? Got that?
Oh
Come for
dear.
me, I'll
Okay,
come
okay,
for
okay.
you.
Whoa. Bring the tone back into the positivity. Kira, where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling you from the New York City area, and I just like pockets just to put pens and my phone in, things like that.
Yeah, I'm with you
Sometimes
there.
even a notebook. Like if I can fit a little notebook in a pocket, that makes me very happy.
Oh, you can get these little kind of mini notebooks.
I have a
That's
lot of them.
for my little black book where I put all the names of people that I dislike at the moment
You
or
have a lot
like.
of people in your black book?
Currently, no, actually,
Yeah.
I'm liking everybody right now.
Well, then it's all good.
Yeah, yeah. So just do little sketches now instead.
Exactly.
Well,
So we ready?
we've loads of stories to get on with. So, Josh, where are we heading to first? What's the first
So
story?
I guess technically it's Romania, but it
Okay.
started in the Netherlands. So we reported on this back about 15 months ago. That there was this was the beginning of a series of art thefts. This one was a golden helmet,
Mm-hmm.
and what made it kind of the thought was it was going to get melted down, right? Like anytime this stuff gets stolen, it immediately gets melted down. And so even if it gets recovered, you're not actually recovering the thing that's recovered. Guess what? They actually recovered the thing intact. And it's back in Romania now. It had left Romania and was in the Netherlands, and it was it was at this museum that it was stolen from in the Netherlands. And so
Mm,
they managed to track it down for once before it actually got melted down. So how about that?
there it
That's the good
is.
news story of the day. Sometimes the predicted negative outcome doesn't happen. Not only was it
Uh,
recovered, but it was not damaged at all.
I,
Wow.
I found the word for it. But I don't know if I'm going to butcher the pronouncement of this now. It's a cotofinesti. Cotofinesti? Is that correct? The cotofinesti helmet.
The
Hmm.
golden helmet of Koto Finesti. I
Yes.
mean, Koto Finesti? Koto Finesti? I don't know.
No idea who they are, but also there was three gold bracelets as well. And as you can see here in the image that is depicted on the visual
Two.
podcast,
That'd be
there were,
two for those that can count.
but there was only two that were found. But there were three, I believe. So there you
Oh,
go. Now there's a fun fact for you. What do you think, Kiira?
I can imagine just wearing it, like the weight of that.
Yeah.
And, how did they do back exercises to support something like this?
You
Like,
have to do a few bar squats.
Well, you got to remember the average human was much smaller back then. I was actually just reading something about this. Everyone thinks the Vikings are huge. The Vikings were only about 5'9". It was because the average Roman was like 5'6".
Mm,
But so think about someone who's shorter and squatter wearing a helmet like that. And I don't think it's not too heavy because they'd be like more, what do they call those, mesomorphs or whatever? You know what I mean? Like the ones that are,
mesomorphs.
yeah, there's these three body types: the tall and thinny,
hmm,
the short and squat, and then there's the middle type. And these are more like the short and squat kind of people
Oh,
because they
the stout few.
apparently it goes back to how much protein you have in childhood, right? And so the
Oh,
Romans had less protein per person, but the Scandinavians, because they had all this fish, had a hell of a lot more protein per person. And so proportionately, it made them look a lot bigger. But the average person now in like the UK is taller than the Vikings were when the Vikings invaded. So
mm.
it's all relative. What can I tell you? But
Well,
going back to the helmet, I just think the person we're thinking of wearing it wasn't like 6'4". They were more
okay.
like 5'6".
So they weren't top heavy then, is what you're saying?
Nah, not at all.
Nah.
They were like, grr,
Grr, grr. What was that? What was that, Josh? You want to do that again? Grr,
grr, grr.
grr.
They were bears, okay? They were bears. Let's
Bears.
just
Okay.
call
Speaking of
call it
Met
what it
Gala,
is.
though, wouldn't these be great accessories for the Met Gala?
I think so, right?
You
I mean,
know?
if the theme this year was fashion is art, I mean, I feel like anyone could have worn one of these helmets.
Well, there you go. See,
Based
we're
on
just
some
so current. We're so
based on
current.
some of what I saw, some of them kind of wearing helmets.
Hmm.
That's
There were some puppet costume pieces, like some people had these amazing almost like wearing a puppet around them connected to their body, like.
yes.
And I do think it's pretty incredible to see the work that goes into some of these designs.
Yeah, well, when you're told that fashion is art or art is fashion, whatever the theme was, I think you're inviting a certain kind of
Yes.
expansiveness of the right. Usually there's talks about like the bodice
Artistic
has a certain kind
license,
of
darling.
construction or something, but this is
Mm.
like the whole gown has a certain constructiveness about it.
Artistic license, I think. Artistic
Yeah,
license. Anywho, that tea's spilled.
whatever.
Moving swiftly along.
Boof. So off we go. This is, of course, Maurizio Cattelan, who has no problem causing problems and issues,
Hmm.
decided for Easter, hey, guess what? I'm going to open up a hotline for people to confess their sins that
Yes.
he then recorded and is then going to use as an installs audio track.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the ethics around this.
I'm just letting it out there as usual. As I've talked
So,
about Eddie, when I told Eddie about the comedian, Eddie was aware of the comedian. Eddie's my bartender at my local, and I often gauge how ridiculous things are based on how many fucks he's like, what the fuck he'll say in response. So the comedian with the banana, Eddie was like, yeah, what the fuck, whatever. I'm not surprised. Something like this, he was like, why would you do this at all?
mhm.
Just to say, because it
he
seems kind of odd to me.
he had created to go with this exhibit, which I do not have featured here because I thought it was just a bit ridiculous. Was kind of a sculpture of the Pope lying down in some sort of weird form, and I was like, okay, we won't go too far into the blasphemy today. But yeah, I just wonder. I wonder, do the people who are making the confessions on the call in the hotline know that they're going to be recorded back?
Yes.
Ah, okay, so there is a disclosure notice.
There is a disclaimer. Yeah. I mean, because that's the whole point is
Mm.
Catalan, I think, doesn't want to get sued. But
Mm.
even knowing that, would you like, I don't know. What do you think here? Would you do this at all? Like, even if it's anonymous, is this just the
This
whole
is
thing is
pretty
bizarre?
I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, so I like this image here, this kind of setup of this like whisper wall. There's an intimacy in that. And I think that the, sharing of something and sort of revealing something that feels secretive and maybe getting that off your back and out of your
Mm.
soul could make you feel good and kind of lighter. But yeah, then you shared it and now it's in perpetuity out there in another piece of art and you have no idea what that life form will be. So that is a little bit risky for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, no, I had a really interesting thought there, and now my fishy brain has just gone into another situation. But I was thinking, I no, but it's come back to me. It's come back to me. I was like, it's like, so, like, are people going to get their voice distorted when they're saying this, or is it like, I'm worried about people recognizing my voice, because I've done 83 episodes now, of Spill the RT, that people just know my voice, so be like, oh,
So you
that's
really
definitely,
think
yeah.
so you really think you're the only Irish sounding Irish person?
I know my voice very distinctive, Josh. How dare you think it's not? I laugh,
Delusion
laugh.
spring,
Oh,
delusion
absolutely,
spring
absolutely. I'm totally
eternal.
Delulu. I'm totally Delulu. That's okay. I have accepted my Delulu-ness.
Hey, to me, I would worry less about the manipulation of my voice or not, and just this idea of turning confessional is private, right? I
Yes.
mean, there's a certain performativity that's there, but
Mm,
it's not performative in the same kind of way because it's supposed to be an audience of one ultimately. I mean, I'm not religious, but like the framing of it is supposed to be that.
mm,
This, by putting it out into the public, turns confessional into performance, right? Whether you are there while that performance is happening or not doesn't really matter. From a performance art perspective, it's an
mm,
install that's taking place, right? And so to me, it's this question of should people's authentic confess, and would these be authentic confessions? And then B, if they are, is that the appropriate place for it? And I don't,
mm.
right? These are questions. I don't have answers, but it's why
Yes.
I go
I
for it,
wonder
Kiira.
the same thing, Josh, is it an authentic confession because they know that it's going to be shared out to the public?
Mm.
So are they then potentially performative in their
Exactly.
confession?
Responses.
I would
And then
Interesting.
assume that that could be the case. In
uh,
fact, do they maybe even exaggerate a little bit and
right.
make it a bit more saucy?
Yes, of
Oh.
course. And then so it starts to become this meta lexical kind of cause becomes effect, becomes cause, becomes
Mm-mm.
effect in this weird meta kind of way that is very of the moment, but to me also very in line with a long history of this kinds of performative actions.
Mm.
This is just going back to Caprow and the happening. It's just taking it in the way that Cattelan always does, which is to have maximum virality, right? Like
Mm.
what makes Cattelan isn't the project per se, it's that he always gets the impact that he wants because he can't. For his, I think from his perspective, I can't speak for him, but if I'm trying to envision why I'm doing these things in this kind of pattern, it's not about the thing, it's about the weight that it's causing in the public,
Yes.
right?
Yes. The response.
That's really well, performance art is not so much about the art so much as the performance and the way that it echoes them, right?
Mm.
And so I get what he's doing. It's just I don't know that I personally.
That makes me wonder then as well, is that, like, when you, for those who do practice as Catholics, and who do go to confession, how many of them are exaggerating their sins too? And then, you
Oh,
know,
I don't think it's that worried because if they're actually doing it for legitimate reasons, they're
mm,
then having a certain number of prayers that they have to
oh, the
say on a
penance.
daily basis and penance, right?
Yeah.
So this is the again, I'm not Catholic. I've had many Catholic friends. I don't want to speak for these people, but right, it's this balance of how much are you willing to disclose, knowing
Mm.
that there is some kind of a punishment if
But
you
But
believe
think
that.
about
you're being absolved of your punishment, or of your sins, by saying them, though.
Yeah.
if you think about religion though in general and the idea of going to mass and the early connections to theater there too,
Yeah.
there are these roles that are getting played. And so even in the confessor to the priest, like there is a it's not performance, but there is a role that's there for
Mm.
sure. And so
So
I think that
hold
yep.
that thought. Hold that
Oh.
thought, right? We're rolling over to the next story precisely for that reason. So, have you ever been, Kiira? You're in the New York area. You ever been to Paramus? I'm from Jersey, so I've been to Paramus many times.
Never been to Paramus.
I have been to Paramus. There's a lot of traffic there quite often.
Well, because there's the Paramus Mall, and if you've seen The Sopranos, the Paramus Mall is often mentioned because it's the biggest mall in North Jersey that everyone would go to up there. So anyhow, guess what's coming to the Paramus Mall? A virtual Sistine Chapel. You know how that we had the Van Gogh exhibition?
Yes.
This is the Sistine Chapel exhibition. Now go back to the thought you were saying about performativity and churches. Go.
Yes, interesting. Right. So this is like on a much larger scale
Yes.
where now the public is invited in to take on the role, but they don't have to worship. There's no, but maybe would this feel like an intimate experience? It looks from the photos that it's a very big experience. So, and then do they feel the same kind of awe that they might feel if they actually went to the Sistine Chapel in person?
An immersive experience opening April 10th. So it's already been in place now for about a month by the time we're taping. Well, about a month. Yeah. Rated 4.8 stars globally. The exhibition faithfully recreates all 34 of Michelangelo's ceiling and altar masterpieces using licensed high-resolution imagery and an advanced printing technique. That's from their press release.
Well, I mean, it's probably more accessible than the Sistine Chapel insofar as you can fit a whole lot more people in there.
To be clear, this is a mall that's already well known for immersive experiences. It's like, as malls are dying around the country, this mall is expanding because this is close to New York. It's close to the money of people of Northern Jersey. It is a huge draw. They are not going here for religion. I mean, there might be some because there are plenty of Roman Catholics in the area. Don't get me wrong. But most of the people that are going here are going there as part of their mall going experience.
Sure.
They're not going here to confess.
They're going to go to the food court. They're going to get a pretzel from Auntie Annie's. They're going to get a sandwich from Subway. They're going to stroll through the Sistine Chapel while they're munching on their $6 half-foot long.
These are lots of images that I did not picture today.
This is, well, if you've ever been to Vegas, right? So there's this huge install of Cholule glass in a casino in Vegas. So you're walking under like 400 feet of beautiful glass. It's a damn casino, right? That's what this reminded me of. It's not about the original intention at all. This is about crass commercialism. Mm-hmm. And you can try to say, well, some people will come for, no. If you're religious, you make your pilgrimage to your local church. You make your pilgrimage to the actual Sistine Chapel, right? Mm-hmm. You go to Mecca. You do whatever the hell it is you do. You don't go to a mall in Paramus.
So what is the end goal here? Is it just to show off the artwork? The money?
Must be bringing the Sistine Chapel to you. Like if
accessibility?
I put my hat on, it's like, right? It's like, you don't have to go to Italy anymore. We're going to bring it to you, to your mall around the country.
Okay. What better way to encapsulate millennial and zillennial culture than we will bring it to you?
And these are just literally projected on a screen or screen images. Couldn't you just project them on your wall at home and get the same thing?
Well, but it's like huge, right? This is like the Van Gogh experience, right? You could also do the same thing with Van Gogh. Yeah. Why is Van Gogh selling right? They'll probably put this up in the Sphere in Las Vegas at some point. Like, I mean, this is what people want. They want these.
That'd be kind of fun, actually. I'd like to see that.
Well, I think there's actually a reason for it, right? Because it's a combination of analog and digital. It's digital, but it's so large that it has to be experienced in an analog setting. And so what we're finding is, and this is what I do for work, right? What we're finding is that people aren't wanting to lose the digital, but they're wanting to dovetail the digital into the analog in ways that does not sort of take away from the power of each. It's finding ways to make them both work. Something like this for me is just not what I'm interested in. But I also don't like, adventure parks and roller coasters and Disneyland and like anything where there's too many people like that. That's not where you're going to find me in the first place.
You don't like that adrenaline rush, Josh?
I don't like people.
Oh dear. That's why
this might not be the right piece for you.
No, that's why sitting at the sound desk at theater performances is your ideal place.
Well,
you're kind of far back.
I have an ongoing project where I give away art to people that I meet, right? But I don't give them away to people with money. I don't give them away to tourists. I give them away to people that are wait staff and bartenders and people that are working
people
who
that you meet
people
along your
don't
journey.
recognize. I want them to have art in their lives because people don't actually see them, right? So it's not that I don't like individuals. I just hate people in general en masse. Because people en masse are just not particularly, we're not a good species. Most other species find a way to cooperate with other species and get along with them. Humans are not good at doing that, even with themselves, let alone
Oh
others.
dear, oh dear.
So
I like
I'm just
people.
calling it,
People are great.
sure, sure. In very small doses and very small numbers, sure.
Yeah, but isn't
Sure.
I'm
that
with you,
just
Eamon.
uh
I'm with you, Eamon. I feel, and to your point, Josh, in the cooperation part, I feel like when humanity does get it right, it is when we're cooperating and like behaving
yeah.
like a beautiful school of fish flowing together.
It does.
Sure.
It does happen.
Sure.
It does happen. Pessimistic Josh is out this morning.
So you want proof of that? Want proof of that? Okay.
Oh,
Proof.
here we
On to
go.
the next story we go. Off to China we go, where it turns out who knows how many artworks can't be found in all of their museums. Shocker. So tell me again about how collective effort automatically produces good outcomes and how people will automatically make things turn out well.
Okay. Well, yes. So I don't know much about China, and I don't know much about what's happening in the art world in China, other than what we discover here in Spill the RT Weekly. Um, but all I do know is I do love a lot of Chinese art, and I feel like they are doing something to try and find all of this art and to try and protect it. So I'm here for that, and I think that in itself is a communal effort.
I'm just saying this. In the West, theft from
Yes.
art museums happens in these grandiose clown car. Let's
I
steal from
mean,
the
that happens
Louvre.
in Paris. So, I mean,
That's my point.
yeah.
Whereas in China, it happens silently, and just suddenly thousands of pieces of artwork are missing. Right?
Oh,
And
dear.
I'm not saying that one society is better than the other. My whole point is collective effort generally produces shit outcomes for us
Sometimes.
because we're not very nice people.
Sometimes. Kiira, what do you think?
I'm very curious. So, I mean, I can't really contemplate this. Like people are going into these museums and actually leaving with art off the walls. Like how
Well, it's probably happening more on the back end in the warehouses and those kinds of things, right? Like the places where museums are more likely to have what's called loss and breakage in the warehousing industry, right? In retail is in the back end where you're storing stuff. Like,
Hmm.
legitimately, some stuff does get lost. Legitimately, some stuff does get broken, but the majority of the time, it's theft.
Mm.
Like the
It's
third gold bracelet from Romania. Like that
Yeah,
was like we don't know where it went.
I think
absolutely.
we know where it went. It got melted down. That one probably got melted down.
Yeah, it's actually here. Look, I've got a gold bracelet here. Listen,
Oh,
it's me. I stole it. It was me.
shh.
Don't tell anybody.
Scotland Yard, do not go knocking on his door.
Don't worry, it's not worth that much. But I think this is good because the Chinese ordered the nationwide audit of all these Chinese museums, and
Right.
they're trying to find where all of this missing artwork is gone, and they're trying to figure out what happened with the mismanagement of all of these museums. So there is something happening, and they're trying to do
Right.
right by it, trying to
But
bring
you know
some
the expression?
justice.
Have you heard the expression? There's no point in shutting the barn door if the horse has already left.
Yes, but if we said that about the wonderful stuff in Romania, then we never would have found the three pieces instead of the
That's
four.
because it was gold and one thing that they were looking for that caused international tourists for so many people that they had to get it back because the Dutch felt so embarrassed that they'd
Mm,
allowed this to happen. I
okay.
don't think this is the same case here. I
I don't
think
know.
this
To be
is
fair,
more
I would
like
prefer this beautiful painting here that's shown on screen on the visual podcast if you're tuning in via YouTube, rather than the gold crown that would not be ever worn. It would just be in like just some locked up case, probably somewhere. There's a nice sponsorship from On.
this is not about particular art types to me. This is about the idea that somehow we think that our collective efforts are going to produce positive things. They
Okay.
generally don't. See,
Sometimes they
I
do.
just want to point out for those that can't visually see this show, I'm the only person who's gray. The two other wonderful people on this show with me are wonderful and young, and they have bright energy, and they have this belief that the world is here for you because they're millennials. I'm
Well,
not.
we do believe that the world is here for you. There is a world that's here for everybody, and there is a world that's not here for you. But I choose the former.
But at the moment in this world, a lot of art is missing in China. So it seems that
Yes, Kiira, bring it back.
It needs to be found. So if anyone is listening and they happen to know where one of these pieces are, I guess, contact your local Chinese authority and
Yes, Kiira.
try.
So with that in
Or
mind,
Eamon would gladly receive it also to look at it
Thank
as
you,
well.
Kiira.
It's an option number 2.
Address is in the description below.
with that in mind, I have the 5th story to give you an option of where you can go instead.
Okay.
Which is this new auction platform. We all know who Pharrell is, right?
Pharrell Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy, clap
Great
along
hat.
if you feel like a room without a roof. I thought you'd sing along.
That probably just got us copyright struck,
No,
by the
it's
way.
fine. It was out of tune. It's fine. Don't worry.
So he has an auction site. Oh, this is just one of the things that was sold on the auction site. The auction site is called Joopiter, 2 O's instead of a U, right? And
Joopiter.
This is the kind of stuff that used to be sold at Sotheby's, right? Major auction houses. Now it's all shifting online. And my guess is that a lot of the stuff that we're talking about that's disappearing from museums around the world, this is where they're ending up.
Oh.
Because the online stuff is much less regulated, cannot be tracked in the same kind of way. Stuff shows up for a couple of weeks for the auction and then is gone. And then the auction buyer has anonymously bought it, taken it, and off they go.
Was it Jupiter or Pluto that was discounted as a planet?
It was Pluto.
Pluto.
Okay. Yeah.
But they're talking about bringing it back.
They should. Poor Pluto.
Yeah.
I loved Pluto.
I agree.
What are you gonna do?
Justice for Pluto.
Justice for Pluto. And justice for this tray, the Triceratops. What a name. 66 million years old. What?
This sold for $5.5 million.
Sure, look. Yeah. I have that in my back pocket.
So I dropped this in here, obviously, because of the connection back to the museums. This is where stuff gets sold. But also, who wants to buy? Where do you put a Triceratops skeleton? Like, I guess if you had $5 million to drop on a Triceratops skeleton, you may
have a few acres of land in your front garden,
But where would you put it? What would you do with it? What's the point of it?
I don't know. It looks cool. Look at that head. I mean, that head is huge.
You can get a life-size repo made for about $8,000. So
yeah, but it's not real.
Okay, but what's the attachment to the real here?
That it's 66 million years old, and you have something that's 66 million years old in your front garden.
So it's about possessiveness and owning and having.
Oh dear, that's very dramatic of you, but yes.
Okay. It's just not my value.
Kiira, would you like the Triceratops in your front garden?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know that this would be the lawn ornament that I would want in my garden. But I would certainly appreciate seeing it in real life. And I do think there's a lot of value in seeing the historical and the prehistoric.
Right.
Like that, makes the same way that I feel when I look at stars. Like it makes me feel very small in the grand scheme of life, and remembering how important it is to be human and what to do with my time. So I think seeing it in places that we all have access to, right? Like the stars belong to all of us. A museum, even if you have to pay for access, is still communal and public in a way, right? Accessible. Yes. Right. But if someone puts it in their garden, or if maybe they even deconstruct it, because do you have the space for this? Like you might need to just put it in a box, and that would be really sad.
That would be really sad.
Most art, the most valuable art in the world by a considerable amount, is not seen by anybody. It's locked up in these places that are called free ports that don't have taxes applied to them. They're just warehouses in neutral zones. There are literally about $1 trillion worth of artwork that's just sitting there and no one sees it. Right? Because the artwork entered the private market. And once the private market gets it, gets disappeared. Yeah. You're probably never going to see this Triceratops again.
Oh, that's sad. Poor Trey.
Well, it's this weird thing, right? Because you're digging in land. Well, you didn't make the land. You're digging for stuff that wasn't alive while you were alive. You dig it up, and then you clean it up, and you put it together.
Not. I'm not that old, am I?
And you're like, I have value add here. This is how capitalism works, right? I take something, I add value to it, and then I sell it to somebody else who pays me back what they think that value is worth.
Okay.
What's the value of a Triceratops skeleton? There's no use for it. You can't be used for anything other than for display. The only thing it has is exchange value. The only thing it has is allowing someone to stroke their ego by saying, I have what other people don't.
Well, I can say that Pharrell Williams is definitely happy now with his commission.
Well, and obviously, who got richest in the California gold rush?
Mm-hmm.
The people who sold the shovels. Levi Strauss started off as tent makers. When people started cutting up their tents to make trousers, they pivoted and started making trousers themselves. They never dug for any gold,
Dig, dig,
right? The
dig,
people
dig,
that
dig.
facilitate, if you facilitate transactions and you can get enough volume, that's where you make money.
Mm-hmm. If you had $5.5 million, Kiira, what would you spend it on?
I would buy a building.
A building.
And
That's good, I suppose, yeah, because it's worth more money.
yeah, and
Yeah,
make it an
good
art
investment.
space and make it a community space. I mean,
Stuff for
that
the
is a
community to come
dream.
together to make something fabulous together in a
Right.
communal
And
way.
maybe we'll 3D print our own Triceratops for a lot less
Amazing.
money and then we can all enjoy it. I mean, I
Right.
do see and I think that this is just sort of a miss in a lot of forms of these things that move through space. And as you were saying, Josh, gets stuck in these sort of ambiguous zones and spaces that nobody ends up really having access to except for the people that are managing the space. Is that there's a missed opportunity perhaps in archiving this work. And if we use modern technology, something like photogrammetry, we can make these incredible 3D models of these
Yeah.
things and then, figure out what to do with them after, like build a metaverse world that they go into or
Mm.
put them on a website or, archive them in a way that archaeologists and other students can study them more.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, money changes the way people think. There's actually been research that's documented on this, right? And so convincing someone whose values are different, it's not communal based, right? It would ask, can we borrow whatever you have just long enough to scan it? We promise. Then you can have it back. It's yours forever. We just want one good copy of everything. So then the rest of us can have it too.
Oh.
To me, this is the basic kind of thing. You need something from me, I don't care. Take it. It doesn't matter to me at all. This is why I give away art. I can always make more. Not a big deal. But that's not the thought process that's behind a lot of this, right? Like the system that orders that is about exclusivity and about not allowing. Scarcity is what makes it go. It's valuable because it's scarce. The moment it can be reproduced, the very thing that they care about has disappeared.
Yeah, and then gone forever.
Gone forever.
Gone forever.
Anyhow.
But Kiira,
Boof.
what you're speaking about there about you have a lot of work that you do with XR, don't you?
I do. That is the funny and unique reality and world that I live inside of.
Well,
So
I
tell
think
us
this
about
is
you.
a great opportunity for you to speak about that.
So for anyone that's listening and tuning in, that's maybe put on a virtual reality headset or used a menu with a QR code, that's augmented reality. If you put on a virtual headset, you might be going into virtual reality. What that mall Sistine Chapel experience is doing is, building a kind of virtual extension of something that is physical and real. And so I build these worlds, these virtual worlds and live performances and art and installation art that is merging all of those mediums. So it's a mix of immersive installation, live performance, and immersive theater. And it's connecting all of those things into what I like to call as XR theater. And the sort of bigger general umbrella is immersive. And that's the space and reality that I like to build art and stories within.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So do you want to maybe talk about some of the works that you've worked on or like a more recent work that you're currently working on?
Sure, absolutely. We just premiered a co-production that was done with a dance company last summer at Jacob's Pillow. That was done with the company Kinetic Light, where we filmed with cameras. We filmed dancers, the incredible artistic and disabled dance company Kinetic Light, and they were flying on wires. And so all of that work was done for virtual reality, and that is now touring around the US.
Amazing.
And hopefully further and further as that piece continues to grow. And then some productions that I've done before that were living inside this XR theater type of experience. So one production was called Love Seat, which we did at the Venice Biennale, the Venice Film Festival.
Cool.
And that was a live performance that was performed in what I call a hybrid reality, where the production happened live and we built a theater in Venice on the island there. The Lazzaretto Vecchio. And then we also built a virtual world that virtual avatars and audience came into with virtual reality headsets. And so that show and those actors performed between physical and virtual reality simultaneously.
How did the audience respond to that? Because it's obviously a very fresh experience for a lot of people. You know, it's a new form, a new experience. How did they kind of engage with it?
It was really amazing. I mean, one of the problems that we have in VR, and I'm sure for anyone that's put a VR headset on, is they've found that it can be really individual and solo.
Mm,
And I'm really about the communal experience and making things for a wide
yeah.
audience. So I really wanted to try to scale what was possible and build the largest theater that we could. And so we had 50 attendees that were coming physically and then another 25 in VR. So that's scaling to 75. And usually when you see a lot of VR, it's one person in a headset at a time.
Okay.
So I'm interested in that kind of social experience. And what was really neat is we would have cameras streaming from Venice into the virtual world and then vice versa. And as the audience was gathering, people could wave to the avatars that were coming and loading in to take their seats in the virtual world. And the physical world could be looking back at them. And the same, we also passed headsets around the audience so they could look inside and also see what was going on in the virtual world. And the actors basically were wearing motion tracking, along with headsets, and they would come in and out of VR.
Wow, so very technical.
Very technical, yeah, but also really fun.
Mm,
If you think about like going to a movie screening where people get dressed up, like maybe they're seeing like Rocky Horror and they
mm.
get dressed up, or maybe they're interested in something like Bridgerton and they're going to like a high tea and they get like dressed in character to go to the production. People made avatars to come to the show.
Wow. Okay, cool. Very good.
Interesting.
And so this image here that we have, this stunning image, what is this depicting, or where is this from?
This is another production that we did. This followed Love Seat. So this was a show that we built during the pandemic, and the virtual audiences that had been with us for Love Seat said, open up the doors of Love Seat. Like we want to gather in there. I think they found this space was just a really friendly, warm space, and they had great social interactions. And I thought, no, we got to build a better world for people. Like what we got to give them hope. What else can we do? And so we pulled the audience online and had these live interactions with them. And we said, what do you want? If we made a superpower for you, what would you want? And the audience said, we really want to fly. So we were like, okay, we're going to build in flying into this production, this live show with Broadway actors, and we'll teach the audience how to fly. And so this is a view from inside the virtual world of Mount Olympus, and you fly up to this cloud at the end of the show, and there's a cloud bar where everyone gets to hang out and have virtual drinks with the cast, and they
Wow,
can fly around the whole world as the show has finished.
that's so amazing. That's
But
very
see, to
cool.
me, what you're doing is so very different than what we were talking about in terms of like that Paramus install, right? Like this is by design supposed to
Mm,
be communal, by design breaking down levels of differentiation using the technology, but
mm,
not having it replace the core of the actual interaction, right?
yes.
Very, very different. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very clever. I love it. Kira, this is obviously like something that you've been working on for a long time. What stemmed your interest in XR?
I had the opportunity to my first VR experience that I got to do. I was at the Tribeca Film Festival. Headsets were still pretty rare. They'd been out and work had been shown at Sundance for years, and work had
Mm,
been shown at Tribeca, and I just didn't get the headset. And they were
mm,
starting to do more works with headsets, and I just waited in line for days. And I got really lucky. It was like the last day. It was like the second to last person to get to put the headset on. And the creators of the piece were there. And I mean, it's with me to this day. It was very moving. And I think when you see art and you have a really um, physical, embodied experience with the art, like it changes you. It changes your perspective on life. Like it's with
mm,
you.
Yeah.
And that can happen in a lot of ways, whether it's theater or a concert or a piece of fine art in a beautiful gallery. These are things that move with us as human beings. I think it's
mm.
why we seek it out. And so for me, this piece, it was called The Enemy. And you physically walked between a Palestinian and Israeli soldier. And they had been captured in what was called photogrammetry. I didn't know anything about this at the time, and you had to physically get close enough to them, which was kind of terrifying because it was like they're soldiers. Like, what's going to happen? Even though it's virtual, you believe it. Your mind
Mm.
goes there, and it's very embodied. So you physically walked up to each of these soldiers. I want to say that the space was in like a 15 to 20 foot space. So you were really moving across distance, and you would ask them these questions and they would respond. They'd both been asked the same set of questions. And other than that, the piece was pretty simple. The virtual space that we were in felt like we were kind of in actually like a gallery space. It felt like a very clean, well lit space.
Yeah.
But I took the headset off. I was very moved. And the creator of the experience was there. He was a photojournalist, had been to many war zones. And he was very tired. And I sat with him on the floor at the Tribeca Film Festival. And I said, how do I make this? What do I need to know? And he gave me a list of software and different programs and things. And I was like, that's it. I need to go learn game engines and 3D modeling and photo, whatever, what it was, photogrammetry. And then now, years later, I've become very skilled at working with things like volumetric capture, where we're actually filming with many cameras, capturing the human form to make it three-dimensional. So when I look at something like a Triceratops that could be captured, I'm like, oh, there's an opportunity there. There's something we could do and open that up. And also, I like to make things that are interactive and especially involve audience participation. So like, let's make the Triceratops dance as an audience. Like, what can we do together? Like if, someone feeds it with a virtual object, like maybe it can wag its tail and what can happen? Like, what could we do to bring it to life in a fun way?
Yeah, that's really incredible. Like that's such a journey that you've been on, and it's just really exciting to see that you're like only really at the beginning of it all, which is like incredible.
Thank you. Yes, it's a decade and I still feel like I'm at the beginning. The field just keeps
Expand.
changing.
Yeah, I can imagine everything's going so fast as well in the technology world. So it's cool. Kiira, where can we learn more about you, and where can we find out more about other projects that you're doing and all of that?
We are in development on 2 new productions. I can't wait to share more. Maybe I can come back in the future and share more when we have more about that someday. One will be more of an immersive installation. The other is more on the immersive theater side. And that one is about Cleopatra. And so in the meantime, you can go to my studio website, which is Double I Studios, and that's DOUBLEEYE.co. And I also have a personal website, Kiira Benz, where I share a bit more personally about writing and reflections, working in this medium, trying to blend reality and figure out how we can exist as humans.
Amazing, cool. Well, we'll put those 2 links in the descriptions of all of the different platforms, so that everybody can go and check them out and learn more about you, Kiira, and about your work, which is really, really incredible. And what a joy it has been to have you on Spill the RT. Thank you so much for being a fabulous guest.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for updating me on everything going on in the art world right now. I learned a lot today.
It's only a smidgen, and you can learn about more things in the art world next week when you tune in next Thursday, as we do every Thursday, spilling all of the latest art gossip and stories on wherever you get your podcast platforms from. Isn't that right, Josh?
It is. They should like, they should share, they should subscribe.
They should
send to 3 friends. They should buy some swag.
All of those things. All of those things.
Come on as a guest. They should recommend someone to come on as a guest. We're nice. We don't bite. We promise.
Yeah. Do we bite, Kiira? Did you feel bitten today?
No, this is all very playful. Thank you guys for again, sharing so much, taking us around the world.
Around the world, we are multinational.
Around the world and back again.
Yes, absolutely. Well, look, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today, folks. But until next Thursday, stay spilling the RT with everybody. Stay creative, and we'll see you then. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye-bye.